Okay, first graders, by now you should have a really cool model on what you think would be a great idea to build. Today we're going to make it even better. All right, so by now we have defined the problem. The problem being we want to make sure that Aladdin or our pennies or whatever you want to use for your gingerbread man can make it safely across the river or can at least stay afloat for a couple of seconds. That's the problem. We've also defined the limitations or constraints. What can we do? What can't we do? We said that there were certain materials that we had to work with. We said there was a certain amount of time that we had to work with. We said that we had to have this much weight in order to make it float. These are the limitations. These are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're making your model. Most of you have probably started to do a little bit of experimenting with some of this stuff. You may have found that when the paper towel or something like that gets wet, it gets kind of soggy. And I don't know if I like a boat that becomes really soggy. So some of these actually work out really well. So I want you to think about what are those materials that work really well in creating your boat. You've also created a model, a picture on a sheet of paper that shows what it is you want to create. So that you've really thought about what are some of those things that are important in keeping it float and some of those things that you might not have to worry about. The next part of this has to do with working in a team. Engineers never ever work alone. They always work with a team of people because when you have more minds working on the same problem, you get lots more ideas and lots better solutions to that problem than if you just have one person working. So you need to think about your team. Who's on your team to solve this problem? Are your parents on your team? Can they help you? What about a brother or a sister or a teacher or a friend? What are those people that you can go to and show your model to and say, hey, this is what I want to build. What do you think? Do you have any other ideas? Because we want to get ideas from lots of different people in order to make our model and our final design the best it can be. So take some time now with your model and get some feedback. Go to people around you, whether it's your parents or your babysitter, or maybe it's your teacher or a friend, and show them your model and say, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you think this is going to work? And what ideas do they have? So take some time and get some feedback about your model. It is so important to cooperate with other people and work in a team. It's a big part of engineering and a big part of science. I'll give you some time to do that, and when you come back, we'll talk about how to make your model even better. So now you've showed your model to some other people, and hopefully you've gotten some really good ideas from them on how to make it even better. Maybe it's how to fasten things together or how to shape the boat that you want to make it even better. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take your model and a second sheet of paper, and I want you to draw an even better model that takes into account all of those ideas that you just got from other people. We want to make a schematic or a plan, a diagram that shows what we want to make. Now remember, engineers don't just go out and grab materials and just start building things. They really got a plan because every time you use more materials, it costs the company money and it costs your parents money to use these materials. So we're going to make a really good plan before we start to actually build. So today, I want you to make a second model, a better one that takes into account a lot of the ideas that you now have from other people. Take your time doing this, and when we come back, we're going to actually start building this thing.